Hello everyone and welcome back to a Code Realize video. Oh my goodness, we're doing Code Realize. Yes, we are doing Code Realize, and I wanted to finish up Finis's route. Let's see if I remember how to get there. I think we started a new game. I'm gonna be Cardia. And let's see. There we go. Extra story Finis. My voice is a little bit raspy and I apologize if it's annoying to listen to. I don't think it sounds too bad, so I thought I would try to record something. A tale that might have been told from the perspective of Finis. Finis was a bad guy, sure, but he was also Cardia's brother, so I feel like to make the playlist complete that I should have a Finis route here. And so let's begin his story.
Finis, 愛しい私の息子よ。
I can hear father's voice.
頼む。私を見てくれ。私の名を呼んでくれ。
A sad voice filled with agony and sorrow. I wish I could wipe away his sadness, his suffering, but no matter how hard I try, I cannot speak those words father so desires. Therein lay my error. I couldn't make father smile. I couldn't meet father's expectations. It was only natural then that he didn't love me.
許してくれ、フィーニス。私は今のお前に愛を向けられない。
Father's hands grips my neck. His large, powerful hands. It's painful, agonizing. My breath ceases.
なぜならお前はただの人形なのだから。
That's so sad. I think he tried to create him before Cardia, and he just wasn't what he wanted, and Cardia ended up being what he wanted. Also, doing Finis's route will give some backstory too, because there's a lot of things that Finis said that we don't understand because we don't know his backstory, and some of the things that I was thinking would happen in the normal story never happened because it happened in Finis's backstory, and I just got confused. Like one of the idea members that I kept talking about shows up in Finis's route, which I thought showed up in the other routes. That was my mistake. It all gets farther and farther away. Saint Germain's mansion, a place where I've spent countless days with my dear, dear friends. The cityscape of London, the place of so many memories. All of it flows behind the wind with each revolution of the train's wheels. I'm sorry, Lupin. Inside the steam locomotive bound for Wales. All alone, I cast my eyes downward, staring through the window at the scenery that shrinks into the distance. I'm sorry, everyone. On the night of that day, my gears of fate began to turn the moment I took the gentleman thief's hand. Arriving in still London, after leaving the mansion in Wales where I lived alone, I ended up meeting so many people in the city that my father built. Gentleman thief Arsène Lupin, the one who whisked me away and showed me the outside world. The genius engineer MP Barbicane, ever cheerful and always the life of the party. The former British Imperial Court alchemist Victor Frankenstein performed medical examinations and researched my poison. The mysterious French nobleman Saint Germain, who provided us with his lavish mansion. The human weapon, Abraham Van Helsing, renowned as the hero of the Vampire War. And then there was Deli, Dracula II, a survivor of the vampire clan. The day that I spent with them in London brought life to this body that was once a doll's. Each of them taught me so much, filling me with knowledge and tricks of the trade. Among other things, we hijacked a train, broke into Queen Victoria's palace, and made quite the ruckus at an airship race. It was all so much fun. My face naturally broke into a smile, and I let out a small sigh. Memories, sweet memories. I'll always cherish those happy days from the bottom of my heart. From here on, those days will never return again after all. I like the Special Intelligence Agency and Finis, chief of the organization, and the boy who calls himself my brother. The truth he bombarded me in that room, filled with my countless corpses, was simply too cruel for me to bear.
やだな、姉さん。僕が今そう教えたじゃないか。そうだよ。姉さんは人間じゃないんだ。作られた怪物なんだよ。
Wrapping my arms around myself tightly, I look at myself in the reflection of the window's glass. Perhaps they will still accept me for who I am, even if I am a monster. Think nothing of it. You're human, they might say. Maybe I could spend more of those peaceful days with them like how it's always been. But even if they do accept me, I'm not sure if I'll be able to accept the fact that I'm a monster. Even when I'm laughing with everyone, even in the middle of an adventure, the fact that I am a monster that was created would never leave my mind. That's why for now I can't be with everyone. At least not until I'm able to face myself. I have to go. Why was I born with this body? Why did Father create me? In all likelihood, the answers to those questions are in the house that I once lived in. Finally, at the end of the long and bumpy ride with several transfers along the way. The stars are already twinkling in their cool light by the time I arrive in my hometown. The mansion stands quietly just as I remembered it. The ivy that crawled about the cracked walls, the wind that crept through the broken windows. Considering its condition, perhaps ruins would describe it better than house. As if to indicate that there was a fire here, there are countless burn marks all over the floors and walls. Pushing aside the cobwebs that glisten in the moonlight, I slowly walk around the premise. The house that I lived in all alone until that fateful day when I was taken by the British soldiers. It should be the place where I have lived the longest, the place I'm most familiar with. But for whatever reason, I can't help but feel an unbearable loneliness. This is it. Following the anxiety that wells up inside of me, I stand before a particular door. There is something to be found, then it would most likely be in here. I put my hand on the door to my own room, amid the dead silence, devoid of life.
やっぱりここに来たんだね、姉さん。
Is he in the chair? Goodness. One who stood from the chair as if he had been waiting for me was the boy who once called himself my little brother. Someone whom I witnessed die on the end of Saint Germain's blade at the underground research lab. Why? You were killed by Saint Germain. This doesn't take place after he fell out of the... That's when I thought this took place. Well, it's been like 3 years since I read it, so...
驚いちゃって面白い顔だな。ヘルシングから聞いてないの？僕はさ、不死身なんだよ。
It sounds like it was supposed to take place before any of the main routes happened, but I was sure that it took place after him falling out of the airship. With his jade eyes of differing hues, he regards the room differently.
ここが姉さんの家。いや、僕たちが暮らしてた家か。来るのは初めてだけど、まるで廃墟だ。見るに耐えないありさまだね。
First time? What do you mean? If you're my brother, then didn't you live here too?
そんなわけないじゃない。僕はただ僕の中にある記憶を口にしただけだよ。情報として知っていても実際に来るのは初めてなんだ。こういえばバカな姉さんにも意味がわかる？
Along with his words is an ice-cold, piercing smile directed at me.
だいたいさ、僕たちは作られた存在だよ。普通の人間みたいに普通の生活をするはずがないじゃない。いや、違うか。普通の生活なんてできるはずがないんだ。
Words that were somehow devoid of emotion. What kind of expression is he wearing right now? Curiosity gets the better of me, but he stands with his back turned and there's no way for me to see his face.
少なくとも僕はこんな屋敷を見たところで何一つ懐かしさなんて浮かんできやしない。そう、楽しかったことも悲しかったことも、父様との思い出は何一つ。
He kicks the desk in frustration and the dolls atop it all topple over. Twisting his face in hatred and anger, Finis turns towards me.
ねえ、答えてよ姉さん。僕と違って姉さんはこの家を見て懐かしさを覚えたりするのかな？
Oh right, there's choices for this, dang it. And so each choice that we don't pick is going to lead to the normal end, so we're not going to read them ahead of time. We're going to say not particularly. I pick up a doll that had fallen to the floor and stare at it. They were always watching over me as I spent time in this room. But I have no memories of my life prior to 2 years ago, so I have no idea when I got this doll or where. Memories related to it simply don't exist to me. To be honest, looking around this room, I don't feel very sentimental. Maybe that's because I have no memory of the past, but despite being in my own room, I can't help but feel like it's someone else's room.
そうなんだ。正直意外だったよ。姉さんがそんな風に思ってるなんて。
Finis gave a heavy sigh as if to gather his thoughts.
昔僕がここで暮らしていたのは事実。でもそれはフィーニスであって僕自身じゃない。かつてここで暮らしていた姉さんも姉さんであって姉さんじゃない。
He repeats that contradictory expression, but it doesn't seem like he's trying to confuse me with riddles. I can sense the sincerity in his eyes.
かつて父様には2人の子供がいた。姉の名はカルディア、弟の名はフィーニス。だけどその2人はどちらもとうの昔に死んでる。
Dead. Finis died. I died. I stare at my palm. Even if my body is one of poison, unable to touch others, there's undeniably warmth within it. I'm alive. I must be. Then what does that make us now? If the 2 children are dead, what are we to father?
今更じゃない。なんでそんなに不安そうなの？姉さんだってうすうす気づいてるはずでしょ。自分は作られた存在。そう聞かされたからこそここに確かめに来たんでしょ。自分が人間じゃないって 猛毒を持った化け物なんだってここに再確認しに来たんでしょ？
No, that's not it. Glancing at me as I am shaken, the corners of his mouth lift slightly, as if he derives a sick pleasure from this conversation. A twisted smile runs the length of his face.
そう、その死んだ兄弟こそが僕たちにとってのオリジナルだよ。今の姉さんはカルディアの細胞から、僕はフィーニスの外見情報から。父様がその英知をもって作り上げた全てが偽物の子供たち。自分が人間？胸にある思いは本物？いつか普通の人として生きられる？違うよ姉さん。それは全部ただの勘違いなんだよ。
He's so creepy.
だって僕たちは本物の真似して作られただけのただの人形なんだからさ。
His mechanical laughter echoes throughout my room, or rather Cardia's room. We're imitations, we're mere shadows of his real children. Monsters that were created to perfectly resemble the originals. That's why Father gave me this body that's incapable of loving anyone. My artificial heart that Father gave to me pounds as if to ridicule my very being. Father's voice, which always felt so close by, begins to drift further away.
あれ？どうしたの姉さん？もしかして傷ついたの？偽物なのに。その思いだって本当は姉さんのものじゃないのに。
But
でもまあそれはそうだよね。その絶望感だけは僕にも想像できるよ。信じていた父様の愛が実は別の相手に向けられていた。ああ、こんなに悲しいことはないよね。そう、姉さんだって僕と同じなんだよ。本当は父様に愛されてなんか。
Finis. My knees tremble and I clutch my chest as I continue to stare at Finis. Why? Why do you laugh with so much sadness? Despite his triumphant laughter, my brother looks even more sullen than me after having revealed the truth.
はあ？ショックのあまり目までおかしくなったの？これまで自分が父様に愛されてるとそう思い込んでた愚かな姉さんにやっと真実を突きつけてやれたんだ。悲しむどころか最高の気分だよ。
Oh my goodness. Finis laughs at me in ridicule as if to suggest he can't possibly understand. But contrary to his words, it seems as though he's suffering following his defeat. I have to say something, but just as I open my mouth to speak, the sound of glass shattering echoes through the hallway, halting my words. What was that? Where could it have come from? Following the sound outside of the mansion, I walk around the building as I hold my breath. Then, behind the mansion, my eyes are met with countless torches that sway slowly in the forest. I can see several humanoid figures in the illumination of the bobbing fires that remind me of will-o-wisps.
本当にいたぞ。やはり戻ってきたのか。あの時の怪物め。
The moment I hear that voice, the moment I see those figures, my entire body begins trembling. My experiences and memories of the past 2 years practically vanish from my head. As if my heart is being swallowed by a mire, I'm forcefully pulled back to my past. and the scar of sin I bore in the depths of my heart is opened anew. I recognize these people. I know who they are. You're...
この辺りに人影がうろついてたって聞いて、まさかと思って来てみたが、今度こそ俺たちの村を滅ぼしに来たのか、薄気味悪い猛毒の怪物が。
The villagers that had once chased me away and called me a monster, the one time I went outside of the mansion, eyes filled with hatred just like then, gripping their hoes and sickles just like then. They were glaring at me, the monster. No, no, I didn't do anything.
ああ、怯えたふりをしても無駄ですよ。
You're...
2年前もそうして憐れみを誘い、エレインに取り入ったのでしょう。
The name that the priest says as he appears is like a curse. My entire body is binded by the mistake I committed in the past.
あれは実に悲しい事件でした。あの一件で敬虔な信徒たるエレインは神の加護を失い、しばらく経ってから娘のエティも何を思ったか怪物をかばうような言動を繰り返し始めました。やはり廃墟者の血は廃墟者の血か。まったく嘆かわしいことです。
Eddie? How is Eddie doing now?
ご心配なく。神の言葉を説いた結果、きちんと信仰心を取り戻しましたとも。たとえ自分の親でも悪は悪と認め、言動を悔い改めて膝をつき、廃墟者の墓石を自ら打ち壊すことで罪を償いました。実に立派な娘です。
You've corrupted her. Can't be. It's only natural for her to hold a grudge against me, but the mother and daughter, Eddie and Elaine, had an unbreakable bond. There's no way that she would look down on Elaine of her own volition. Unless someone would go as far as forcing her to smash her mother's gravestone with her own hands through her tears. Don't lie to me. Eddie would never do something like...
黙れ怪物が！お前にエレインたちの何がわかる！そもそもお前がエレインたちをそそのかしたんだろうが！
そうだそうだ！お前さえ来なきゃエレインは死なずに済んだんだ！
They're right. I of all people have no right to speak. If I hadn't gotten involved with them, Elaine and Eddie would still be living happily as we speak.
最近はずっと不作が続いていて、麦もろくに育ちやしねえ。あれもどうせお前の仕業なんだろう。
ああ、またあの草木を枯らす力で畑に呪いでもかけたに違いねえ。
Rocks and unfolded allegations rained down on me as they unleashed their hatred. And Helsing and the others had taught me many ways to handle these sorts of situations. But my mind begins to cloud as if my head is covered in a thick haze, and my body is frozen, it won't budge. Even when a rock hits my shoulder, even when my leg is pelted and bruised, even when my forehead is struck and blood begins to drip, I could do nothing but hold my head and crouch down. Stop it. Why? Why do they chase me and throw rocks like this? Because I killed Elaine? Because I might have killed their crops? Or because a monster like me lives? Is that a sin in itself? The blood that drips from my head begins to wither the grass in the underbrush. As I expose the unmistakable evidence that I am a monster, they stare at me as if I am the scum of the earth.
神父様、あの血は。
Like you haven't seen this before.
ええ、あの時と同じく怪物はその身で触れたものを溶かす。迂闊に近づけば危険です。各自火を用意するのです。聖なる火で焼き尽くすことによって全ては浄化されるでしょ
The crackle of the torches slowly gets closer as they surround me. They intend to slay the unholy monster, to burn my skin, to set my clothes aflame. Can't move. Even my soul feels like it's about to die. What is Finis doing during all this? He just stays in the mansion. I can't take it anymore. I am filled with fear and despair. Just as my soul is about to be snuffed out by an indescribable darkness.
随分と騒がしいね。僕との話はまだ終わってないんだけど。
Well, here he comes. There's two of them. What brought me back to reality was my one and only brother and my enemy, Finis. Finis. The blood blurs my vision, but the same thing's going to happen to him at this rate. I won't let it. No matter who he is, he's still my little brother. There's no reason why he should be involved in this senseless violence. Run. They're only after me, so get away while you still can.
はあ
I'm the only one they hate as a monster. If it's just you, you can...
この状況で僕の心配それ何愛情っていうのすごいや吐き気すら覚えるよ
Don't make me vomit. He shrugs his shoulders as he spits those words and takes a step forward.
あのさお前たち言ってることが矛盾してるよ
He'll set them straight.
ああ、誰だお前は。
この怪物は2年前に村で人騒動を起こした後この屋敷に逃げ込んだんだろそれならここに怪物がいると分かっていたのになんで2年もそのまま放っておいたこれが不幸の原因だというならさっさと殺せばいいお前らが言ったように炎でも何でも使ってさ
そんなの決まってるだろう。神父様がこの屋敷には魔法使いの呪いがかけられていて危険だと。
へえそれで近づかなかったバカらしいそんな程度の低い嘘を信じるのか
He's just insulting them.
何が嘘だってんだ。
ああでもそりゃそうかそんな簡単に怪物が殺されたら都合のいいスケープゴートがなくなるしね当たりかなそこのゴミくずみたいな神父様
Seeing the priest's face stiffen, Finis' mouth twist.
どうせ村で都合の悪いことが起こるたび怪物のせいにして権威を保ってたんだろ笑えるね大した聖職者じゃないか
黙れ、黙らんか。ありもしないことをベラベラと。何者だ貴様は。敬虔な信徒を惑わす悪魔の類か。
何者だじゃあ教えてやろう僕はお前たちが怪物と呼んだ相手の弟さ
弟だとならお前も怪物か。
やはりそうか。見なさい。怪物が仲間を連れてきたようです。
Has brought an ally.
2年前は逃しましたが、今度こそ全てを浄化するのです。
Let it get away. Yeah, coward in your village. Kill it. Kill it. Along with those words, those curses that make me want to cover my ears, they begin to close in on us once more. But without so much as flinching, Finis closes his eyes and whispers.
アレスタ
Is Alistair here? Oh my goodness.
お呼びかな。
Oh my goodness. He's been there the whole time. Alistair appears suddenly and impales the villager's chest, cracking a smile as he withdraws his weapon.
一人も逃がすな。全員殺せ。
承知した。
I can't help but wonder where they all could have been hiding. The Twilight soldiers that emerged from the darkness unsheathed their sabers as to protect us.
排除開始。
なんだお前ら。
死んだ。
I don't remember this at all.
待ってくれ。助けて。
There isn't a hint of hesitation in any of the soldiers' movements. There's not even a moment to stop them. The life of the villagers who were tormenting me are reaped away mercilessly, one after another. And before even 10 seconds pass, bodies that will never move again are piled up high like a Maccabre mountain. I think it's based.
姉さんも愚かだけど、お前たちは輪をかけて愚かだね。石を投げられる側が常に無抵抗だとでも思ったの？僕はね、本当はお前らなんて生きようが死のうがどうでもいいんだ。だけどフィーニスとしては憎むべき相手なんだろうし、何より父様のものに手を出した罪は重い。そのまま苦しんで死ね。
おのれ、怪物だもめ。貴様らには必ず神の罰が。
The priest, still clinging to life, reaches out his shaking hand in hatred, but Finis only cracks a smile as he points his gun in return. Finis has a gun?
くだらないね。あいにく僕にとっての神は父様だけだよ。
Finis quietly turns away, wearing his usual cynical expression, as if to suggest that he just finished disposing of the trash in the road, rather than having committed a massacre.
何を呆然としてるのさ、姉さん。窮地を救った弟に感謝の言葉の一つもないの？僕がいなきゃ今頃姉さんは怪物として火あぶりになってたんだけど。
But there was no need to go so far.
ここまでしたのはこいつらの方じゃないか。姉さんは何もしていないのに怪物と呼ばれて石を投げられ責め立てられて、挙句の果てにこの無知で愚かな村人どものせいで大切な人を失ったんでしょ？
Finis' words creep into my heart. Staring at me with his blue right eye, he quietly whispers,
偽善しゃぶるなよ、姉さん。本当は殺してやりたかったんだろう。
I never noticed, but I guess he does have a blue right eye.
このウジ虫どもが憎くて憎くて憎くてどうしようもなく殺してやりたかったんでしょ？
That's not...
姉さんはもっと自覚を持つべきだよ。父様の計画の鍵たる自分がこんな奴らよりずっと崇高な存在だってことを。
As Finis stares at me, he tosses a cold glance at the pile of corpses that the Twilight soldiers had begun to dispose of.
正直今のは想定外だったけど、姉さんにはいい薬だったかな。今の一件で分かったでしょ。姉さんは人の中では生きられない正真正銘の怪物なんだから。 だから姉さん、僕と一緒に父様のところへ行こう。僕たちが怪物でも人形でも関係なく意味を見出してくれる人のところへ。
Finis reaches out his right hand. His eyes sparkle as they absorb the moonlight staring into me. So this is a save file here. We'll make a save. And then we're going to take his hand, because I'm sure if you refuse his hand, it goes to the bad end. His small cold hand that had just taken a life dripping with the blood of its victim. If I take this hand, I don't think there's any going back. Let me ask you one thing. If I go with you, will I discover why Father created us and why we were born?
もちろんだよ。父様が推し進める計画も、父様が成し遂げたいと誓った願いも、すべては僕と歩む道の先にある。
Alright. I wonder if I really can follow the one who just carried out a massacre without a hint of hesitation. And will I really be able to trust Father? After hearing such shocking truths, my chest is swirling with a suspicion that I've never felt before. But if I plan to reach the truth, then this is the only path I have left. It's not because I trust you, it's because I need to know the truth I'll follow you.
ああ、それで構わないさ。もともと信頼なんて求めてやしない。計画の歯車として働けばそれでいい。
I'm already having second thought. Memories of Lupin and the others flood into my head as I gently grip Finis' hand. But his warmth doesn't permeate my glove. Finis laughs joyfully and begins to walk, pulling me along. Deeper and deeper into the darkness we go. Is that the end? Okay. The little birds sing their song to the sound of the wind that passes through the trees. The sunlight that lulls me into an afternoon nap is pleasant, and the grass in the undergrowth feels like a bed. The serene setting never changes, as if I were living inside of a fairy tale. Perhaps it's thanks to my recent days of the excitement that I feel somewhat bored of it.
私らしくもありませんね。
Recent days of excitement. Killing Finis. With a wry smile, Saint Germain begins walking towards the small wooden cottage. The one who stands at the entrance like a sentry is someone whom he knows very well.
お久しぶりです。ギネビア。
サンジェルマン、あなたも来たのね。
オムニブスからの呼び出しなら無視するわけにはいかないでしょう。こう見えて私はイデアの中で最も忠実なる使徒を自称していますから。
忠実ね。皮肉として受け取っておくわ。
As sarcasm, because he wants to protect Cardia, even though he is both most faithful. Saint Germain and Guinevere, both members of the same organization, their aim to guide the sinful children of man away from the path of ruin until the day of salvation. For millennia, they've led humanity under the predictions of their leader Omnibus. They are called Idea.
今回のあらましは、私もすでに聞き及んでいるわ。世界に最悪をもたらすだろう。アイザック・ベックフォードの忌まわしい計画。でもその鍵となる兄弟の片割れは、あなたがすでに始末したのでしょう。
ええ。確かに胸を差し貫きました。ですがその後、再び彼の姿が目撃されています。
刺しても死ななかったというの？それではまるで
イデアの使徒のようだと？いいえ、全くの別物よ。確かに不死という意味ではあなたたちとも似ているけれど、彼が不死身である理由はより哀れでより 冒涜的なものなのだから。
An elderly woman in a wheelchair, attended by a dog at her side, drew nearer. Upon seeing this person who served as the leader of Idea, the two bowed to her.
オムニブス、新たな使命が下されると聞いて馳せ参じました。すでに予想はついています。アイザック・ベックフォードの野望を食い止めればいいのですね。
ええ、ついに恐れていたことが起きてしまったわ。アイザックの呪われた双子が揃った以上、すべての鍵は彼らの手の内にある。
Omnibus opens her eyes quietly, a strong sense of determination evident on her face.
すべての使徒を集めてちょうだい。アイザックの計画を阻止するために。
Gather all of them.
すべてのですか？ということは、
お母さん、僕たちも行っていいの？
Here's the one that I was talking about this whole time that I thought would appear in the other route that never did. The boy who comes out of the house gently puts his hand on the wheelchair. Physically, he looks younger than Saint Germain and the others. His face still bears a hint of innocence, and his narrowed eyes emit a dim light. But beyond his countenance or anything else, what characterizes him best of all is the gigantic fork that he holds so preciously.
ええ、もちろんよ。アイザックの狂気はこの世界を破滅の道に引きずり込もうとしている。彼の計画が成就すれば、多くの者が苦しみ傷つき、そして命を落とすことでしょう。
じゃあ僕たちが止めないと。
I have to look up his voice actor real quick because I know his voice actor is in a couple of other ones that I've read as well. Okay, yeah. So this guy's voice actor is Peter from Cupid Parasite, aka Jupiter. I kind of recognized it, but I'm like, I know he's a notorious voice actor of someone recently that we've just done. And so I had to go look it up. Also, what I thought Finis's route is in this one, I think I was getting confused with Wintertide Miracles, which is the third fan disc, because I was just looking up Wintertide Miracles and it says how many months that it took place. And Wintertide Miracles takes place 6 months after the Nautilus incident, which is when he fell out of the Nautilus at the end of Lupin's route. So I'm confusing this with that route. So I don't really remember what happens in this. I knew Hansel was in it, the idea member here. I knew that he is part of trying to stop Finis, and I knew Saint Germain was also involved because I remember a screenshot later on in this series as well. So sorry, I gave away his name.
悲しい思いをする子供たちを一人でも少なくするために。
I don't, well, okay, I kind of sort of hear Jupiter's voice because at the beginning of Cupid Parasite, his voice sounds like Yang's. I definitely hear Yang's voice because Yang plays a bad guy, and this guy is kind of on the bad guy side, so I think the voice actor has like a bad guy voice and a good guy voice. When he plays Peter, the bad guy voice is kind of not heard, so it sounds like Peter, which is why I never knew that they were the same character because the voice was different. So this definitely has a bad guy voice tone. The boy begins to walk off as he grips his fork. Saint Germain and Guinevere stare at his bag, filled with mixed feelings.
行かせてよろしいのですか、オムニブス。アイザックの計画の阻止とは、つまり呪われた兄弟の殺害に他ならない。 標的との相性を考えると、彼らでは。
そうね。でも私たちには戦力を遊ばせておく余裕はないの。それにあの子たちならきっと大丈夫よ。他人とは思えないでしょうしね。
Oh no. Do I have to cut out the part where I gave away his name? The boy whom everyone is looking towards closes his eyes. He breathes deep of the wind that blows over his entire body. The smell of greenery, the smell of soil, the smell of the water. And somewhere in between is another vague scent.
甘い匂いがする。魔女の作るお菓子の匂い。
I guess it's not going to tell us in this one. Oh well, it's fine. I'll just leave it in there. Along with the villain. I didn't read the chapter 1 intro, so sorry about that, but I guess it's okay. Whatever, we know his name. You probably wouldn't have been able to guess it with what he says at the end, but it's whatever. His name doesn't really mean much in this story. It doesn't really have a tie-in with the fairy tale, I don't think. Of course, I don't remember anything, so maybe I shouldn't assume anything at this point. But anyway, so yeah, I'm actually looking forward to reading this again since I don't remember any of it. So we're not at the end of the Nautilus. We're before any of it's happened. She's gone with Finis now, and he wants to put Isaac's plan into action. And all the apostles of Idea have been called to arms, and they're going to put a stop to it. Anyway, if you guys did enjoy, drop a like down below and or subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.